Is this thing on? Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. And welcome to Thursday's edition of the DCEU Daily. Well, the Flash situation is getting curiouser and curiouser by the day. Let's give this a little read. Yesterday, it seems second unit photography completed for the Flash Pictures Vehicles Limited via Instagram thanked Andy and Barbara Machete for a wonderful experience and hopes to work with them again. This is from Flash Film News. So let's take a greater look at the Instagram page from these people. Right. As a wonderful project comes to an end, we want to thank both Andy and Barbara Machete for their continued support. It was a pleasure working with this pair whilst we built bespoke vehicles for their requirements on an upcoming blockbuster. They both worked so hard to bring you something special. I hope everyone enjoys the final product. We all look forward to hopefully working with the Machetes again soon. Gracias. Picture Vehicles Limited. So that's who they are. Now, the Flash Film News, and they do everything film news, by the way, the Batman film news, the Batgirl film news, they're very good. And what's weird about these people, they're not actually journalists. They're not screenwriting. They're not the Hollywood Reporter. And they do a better job covering this stuff. But they don't give an opinion, right? They just, because there's no money in that. They're doing well because they just give out information that they find out. They've clearly got people on the sets. They've got people on location. So they give us the information we need because that's what we really want from them. But to me, this is propaganda because by looking at this, you're thinking, you see, Mick? They've only just completed the film. How could they start VFX? It's true. They need more time. Or it could be convenient kind of distraction. Warner Brothers goes out there and says, you know, put a post up, yeah. They're great, they're brilliant. Just to distract you from what's really going on. So on today's DCEU Daily, I want to talk about The Flash and its delay. I want to talk about Supergirl in The Flash, and then I want to give you some DCEU updates via reading some articles and stuff. So there's a lot to get through today, so make a cup of coffee, just let me ramble on, and you'll be more educated for it. Why was the Flash movie really delayed? No. It was not VFX, but this is great propaganda, by the way, and it shows you how nervous they are. Why did Toby Emery schedule 5 movies for 1 year? It's a bit like Bill Murray's Frank Cross in the Scrooge movie, isn't it? He's like scheduling a live fucking show on Christmas Eve. Horrible for the people doing the work, right? And they all hate him in the film. It's a bit like that. 5 movies in 1 year. So I understand that VFX takes a long time. So let's look at Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut. A film that was announced, I think, in March of 2020 and was brought to you on HBO Max in May of 2021. So it took them over a year to do the VFX. So you're saying, you see, Mick? You see, Mick? No. Let's go back on this. It took them a year to reshoot elements of the film and give you VFX. VFX on a 4-hour movie. Because The Flash isn't 4 hours. Shazam! Fury of the Gods isn't 4 hours, right? Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is certainly not going to be a 4-hour movie. That was a 4-hour movie. And it took them just over a year to do VFX, right? So if it took them that long, you could say a 2.5-hour movie, a 2-hour, 50 minutes movie. I think you would probably, you would half that, wouldn't you? Maybe 6 months or so, whatever, right? But then I asked the other question. Why would you schedule a movie without working out what you needed to complete it via VFX, COVID and VFX houses? If there genuinely is a traffic jam, of course they know that we can't find out that information. Well, I know. I'm more specifically talking about you, because I know how it works. So when they scheduled the movie, right, Spider-Man No Way Home, released in December, released in a peak of a COVID variant and made just under $2 billion. Think about that for a minute. There was a lot of VFX in Spider-Man No Way Home. Are you seeing a pattern now, right? Are you seeing a pattern of what's going on here? So this is really clever to put out a thank you to the Machetes. Why would they want to publicly, why would Warner Brothers want these guys to publicly get guys who have been making vehicles for them, right? That's their job. To thank the Machetes publicly on an Instagram. I mean, it happens, but the timing is weird, right? Because they want you to think that everything in the garden is rosy, and it's not. Why was this film delayed for 7 months, which meant the other films needed to be delayed? This is a film that is going to change a franchise. It's literally supposed to reboot a franchise. We are about 3 or 4 weeks away from Discovery taking over. Maybe Discovery want to take a look at that movie first before they say, okay then, reboot the whole thing, it's fine. Maybe Discovery are not going to be very happy about Henry Cavill being used in stock footage from Man of Steel. You're not happy as a fan. I'm not happy as a fan if that's true. I'm sorry, but there's too much evidence to the contrary just to fall for it's the VFX thing. And this is a great tactic, but it also shows you how nervous they are. Because when Toby Emery is nervous, he puts out other distractive news. When we were fighting for the Snyder Cut, he did it all the time. Do you remember Jason Momoa in a Frosty animated movie? What happened to that movie? It's a movie that Jason denied he had anything to do with. But they were trying to prove that everything at Warner Brothers was rosy when it wasn't. Do you see what I'm saying here? So again, why did Toby Emery put out 5 movies in 1 year? Because this was the year Discovery were coming. And he thought if he could get 5 huge wins this year, he could go to Zaslav and Discovery. You see, this is me. Why do you think he came out on that Monday after the opening weekend of the Batman and take all the credit for it? Because he wants to show Discovery. He wants optically for Zaslav and Discovery to see he's the big man, he's the big leader of Warner Brothers films, and this success is down to him. Well done for bringing Matt Reeves on, by the way, but Matt Reeves made the movie. Emmerich is fighting for power. He's fighting to keep his job because, believe you me, I know this from experience, once you've got power, you don't want to let it go. I have had it all, I have lost it all, and I have gained it all again. So I understand that desperate trying to grapple onto power. And he's about to lose power. And this is what the Flash movie has always been about, holding on to power. Nobody knows what the Flash movie is. Nobody knows if it deletes anything or not. Nobody knows what it does to Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck. Nobody knows anything. But the coincidences are there, and the coincidences are not coincidences. They're facts. That a merger is happening. And there's a film out there in the can, right? There's actually a film at the Warner Brothers lot that starts again a DC franchise. A franchise that's part of a comic book IP that's potentially the biggest moneymaker at the studio. So if you were doing a merger, would you really just let them do it without looking at it, without surveying the situation? Of course you wouldn't. We've discussed this fact as well, that a week ago, or 2 weeks ago now, they had a trailer, advertising 4 DC movies cinematically in 1 year. A year for heroes. A trailer that advertises the Batman, Black Adam, The Flash, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. A week later, they're cancelling or delaying all the movies and bringing Shazam! Fury of the Gods forward. No, there are no coincidences in life, everyone. This movie has been delayed for 7 months. You won't see it for over a year. This has been done because there's a merger, and that movie changes everything. So I don't think it's Toby Emery who made this decision, because Toby Emery was quite happy to, schedule 5 DC films in 1 year. He didn't give a shit if the VFX would be ready or not. He was just going to get the whip and go go on, James, go on, the director of Black Adam, go on, Andy, come on, I want everything out this year. So he didn't care. So he wasn't suddenly going to go, oh, all right, guys, I think you're right. I think we should delay some films so you get enough time. No, because he wouldn't have scheduled the films. And he certainly wouldn't wait till now to do it. The reason The Flash has been delayed, and that's the reason why the other films have been delayed, is because Discovery are coming. And Discovery are going to be very aggressive with what they do. This is a huge investment. This is Warner Brothers, the hugest studio in the world, the most iconic studio in the world, that owns the most iconic comic book company in the world. Sorry, Marvel fans, but it's true. Do you really think they're just going to let them put that film out there with stock footage, if true, of Henry Cavill's Superman? Of course not. This is evidence that not only are there going to be big changes at Warner Brothers and DC, but this film, The Flash, could go through significant changes. Now, keeping on the subject of The Flash, let's talk about Sasha Calle's Supergirl. Now, we all remember the Instagram video with Andy Muschietti. He literally was giving her a final audition. She didn't know what was going on, right? She was going to get the gig. Why? Why was she the cast member that they did that? Everything else has been so secretive. But Sasha Calle cast as Supergirl live on Instagram, or on a video anyway. I was pretty impressed at the time, excited. We all were. We all experienced it via my channel. We were talking about it. Do you remember how excited we were? And I thought, wow, they're actually doing what Faye does. They're doing something kind of really good PR here. But now thinking about it, I think about lots of different elements. The representation element, the inclusion element of having a Latino Supergirl. Its optics, of course. But there are other reasons why they did that. Supergirl in the DCEU. It's pretty big, isn't it? But what Supergirl is she, we were asking? I came to the decision a long time ago that they've swapped this Supergirl for Flashpoint Superman. And she will be Flashpoint Supergirl. Again, Hollywood swapping out a male character for a female character, when in fact you could have Flashpoint Superman and Flashpoint Supergirl. How do I know they're not going to do this? I don't. But it looks that way. Because I don't know everything. But it looks like she's Flashpoint Supergirl. Because we've read a lot of things about her being underground, and she's been kept away from the sun. So she has no power. Exactly what happens to Flashpoint Superman. So she's definitely Flashpoint Supergirl, as far as I'm concerned. So I think that I was in denial about what No Time to Shine and Grace Randolph was saying at the back end of last year. But now I think they're right, because when you don't like what someone's revealing, you get a bit upset, don't you? Especially if you're a fan of this shit, right? I think Supergirl was going to replace Superman in this universe. How a Flashpoint Supergirl gets to be in a new world, I don't know. I don't know what they were planning. But you see, everyone knows that they were never going to get away with this. Henry Cavill's Superman is so popular. Batfleck is so popular, not with everyone, but he has popularity with millions of people around the world. In fact, the haters are actually the minority. And now the haters of the Snyderverse are actually the minority, like it or not. So this is the film that changes everything. So you can bet your bottom dollar they were going to delay it for 7 months, but VFX, that's not the reason. So this neat little thing by guys thanking the machetes for a good time at the ball doesn't wash with me at all. At all. It's a distraction. So when are we going to start hearing any news? Don't forget, nothing on social media from Andy or Barbara Machete still. If there has been, please prove me wrong. And I mean, all you have to do is go on Instagram. I'll check it out later, and I'll check back with you on that. But I don't think they've posted anything, because I think I would have noticed it. So something is certainly going on with this movie, and I think by April, we'll be well aware of what that something will be. Wonder Woman in Shazam 2, rumours given big boost by Rachel Zegler. Shazam Fury of the God star Rachel Zegler teases that filming Disney's Snow White wasn't the first time she met the sequel's evil queen, Gal Gadot. Oh yeah, I forgot Gal's going to be in that movie. It's going to be a disaster, isn't it? Anyway, this is by Josh Planisi of Screen Rant. Shazam Fury of the God star Rachel Zegler hints at a major DC Extended Universe cameo in the form of Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman since Gadot's DCEU debut in 2016's Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice. Diana Prince Wonder Woman has become one of the universe's most popular characters. The character's solo outing cemented this popularity as she went on to appear in Justice League and Wonder Woman 1984. Gadot is set to reunite with director Patty Jenkins for Wonder Woman 3. Don't hold your breath, Screen Rant. But her future in the larger interwoven DC universe is unknown. David F. Sandberg's Shazam sequel will see the return of Billy Batson, Asher Angel, and his eponymous superpowered alter ego, Zachary Levi. The film will also feature the return of the Shazam family, including Freddie Jack Dylan Grazer, that's his name, Eugene Ian Shen, Pedro Jovan Amand, Darla Faith Herman, and Mary Grace Fulton, with Adam Brody, DJ Katrina, Ross Butler, and Megan Good reprising their roles as the adult versions of the teen characters. It was also star Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu as villains Hespera and Calypso, the daughters of Atlas, alongside West Side Story breakout Rachel Zegler as another goddess. In a recent interview with Empire magazine via comicbook.com, DCEU newcomer Zegler hinted at a potential Wonder Woman appearance in Fury of the Gods. Gadot will also play the evil queen in Disney's live-action Snow White, which will star Zegler as its titular character, alluding to what is presumed to be Shazam 2. Zegler said, "I'm not going to say much, but filming Snow White wasn't our first meeting." So clearly now the studio has given carte blanche to people to kind of hint about this. And because we've already seen leaks, right, because I spoke to you about, I did the leaks, Shazam Fury of the Gods leaks as well, which it confirms Wonder Woman is in that movie. And I think we know for sure now she's in that movie. But without officially telling you that, Warner Brothers want you to know that too, because of the delays, because of how everything is changing. They want you to go and see that film. Now, look, you know, what can we say? It's been scheduled at the same time of a powerhouse, a film people have been waiting for many years to see. Only Warner Brothers could do this. Now, if somehow this movie is able to equal what Avatar 2 does, I'm going to bow down to everyone at Warner Brothers. But maybe they know something else. Maybe they know that Avatar 2 is going to move dates. I just don't know. Superman's torso famously made a cameo at the end of 2019 Shazam. Since then, there has been plenty of speculation as to who could appear in the upcoming Fury of the Gods. Given the uncertain future of Ben Affleck's Batman and Henry Cavill's Superman, the most eligible Justice League members for Shazam 2 cameo are The Flash, Ezra Miller, Aquaman, Jason Momoa, and Wonder Woman. Rumours have largely concerned the latter so far, which makes sense considering Wonder Woman's status as a DCEU god. Zegler could of course be playing with fans and referencing another unrelated interaction with Gadda, but it certainly seems possible that the pair met on the set of Fury of the Gods. The DCEU isn't necessarily known for its continuity, especially when compared to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yeah, mate, you can't compare anyone's continuity with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's not saying much, is it? Continues to move away from the so-called Snyderverse, its surviving characters are beginning to appear in other DCEU projects, such as HBO Max's Peacemaker. On top of that, the upcoming Black Adam and its characters will likely have connections to Shazam franchise. And the DCEU, that said, Wonder Woman may just be the tip of the iceberg when Shazam Fury of the Gods releases in theatres on December 16th. We don't know who else is going to be in Fury of the Gods, but because the film's been leaked, purposely by the way, they want us to know stuff about that film. And they didn't want us to know stuff when that was set to be released in 2023. All of a sudden it's coming this year. They want to hype us up with a Wonder Woman cameo. Now, if you didn't watch that video and you don't want to know what's going to happen in Fury of the Gods, go away now. But basically, Wonder Woman's role in this movie will be after Shazam is killed. Yes, Shazam is killed. The staff is broken. She comes back and she puts it together. And he comes back to life. And that's it. Now, I don't know if she has anything else to do or she just goes. I would assume she just goes. To me, that sounds like a really neat little cameo. Always great to see Wonder Woman or one of the Justice League members. And that's great. And that's really, really exciting. But at the end of the day, Shazam Fury of the Gods was filmed quite a while back. Maybe even before COVID. I can't remember now. But anyway, it's coming. It's going to be a good movie. I can feel it. But it's scheduled to come out at the same time as Avatar 2. But anyhow, I'm really excited about it, and I think it's awesome that Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman is playing a little role at the end of the movie. So, a bit of bad news if you want the Batman to make as much as possible, because in China they have COVID shutdown. So the Batman China box office projections are very disappointing. Due to theatre closures in China, the Batman is projected to make at minimum about 10 million less than originally thought next weekend. By Brendan Klein of Screen Rant. The Batman's China box office projections are much lower than anticipated. The film, which is the latest entry in the long-running DC Extended Universe, stars Robert Pattinson as the titular Caped Crusader and was directed by Dawn of the Planet of the Apes' Matt Reeves. It follows Batman tracking down a vicious serial killer during the early years of his career, defending Gotham, and features Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman and Paul Dano as the Riddler and Colin Farrell as the Penguin, who will now officially be getting his own HBO Max series spin-off. In the US, the Batman opened on March the 4th, 2022. It took in a domestic opening of 134 million, the largest of any DC film since Suicide Squad in 2016. So are they trying to say that that opening for the first Suicide Squad was that huge? Wow, that's nuts, right? That just shows you the power of the Joker. As well as the largest of 22 so far, as it heads into its third weekend, its standing total is 245.5 domestic, landing the film at the current 2 domestic slot for the year. With a cumulative 472 million worldwide, that's a solid week to take. But producers were likely hoping for the massive influx that a China opening usually provides for Hollywood blockbusters. Per THR, right when Chinese box offices have started to open their doors to more Hollywood films, a COVID outbreak and the closures of 30% of Chinese cinemas has massively impacted prospects. The Batman was originally projected to take in between 25 million to 30 million in its initial release on Friday, March 18. But those numbers have fallen to somewhere between 15 million and 20 million. In fact, if they bring home 20 million from China, that's still pretty good. However, those predictions are especially shaky given the escalating situation in many of China's population centres. But also what you could see is things could be okay by then. Who knows? Let's be optimists, right? Currently, there is no way of knowing how the situation in China will develop and if the box office will I can't read that stupid word, at some point down the road between political and pandemic considerations. Chinese box offices has been shaky since 2020 to begin with. But regardless, the Batman is taking a major blow. Although it had strong opening weekend domestically, it will likely struggle to match the overall total of the pre-pandemic Batman films like Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice, 873.6 million, The Dark Knight Rises, $1 billion. Right, so what they're trying to say now is that this film can't finish on $1 billion. I strongly disagree. All told, even if the Batman struggles in China, it may still be able to hold its own against the massive Batman hits of the past. Even if it doesn't, it seems likely that it will manage to keep its hold in the top 10 of the year, even if the year's many upcoming MCU Phase 4 projects knock it down a couple of pegs, as is entirely likely. This is still an extremely strong performance overall. Right, so let's discuss this. We know that movies have taken lots of money without China before. Now, I'm not sure. I think Spider-Man No Way Home did have China, but there's a lot of movies that have made $1 billion without China. It is possible. So globally now, because globally and internationally is different, I don't know why. So they're saying about 470, 480 internationally, but globally, the Batman is now hit 500 million. So by the end of next weekend, we should be definitely well over 600 million. So that's good. Now that's the third week, right? So they're saying that it will struggle to reach $1 billion without China. I disagree. I'm not saying the Batman will definitely hit $1 billion. And as you know, when we've spoken on my lives, I've been very careful with the $1 billion mark. This film is a hit. This film is a success. Is a success for Matt Reeves and Warner Brothers. There's no issue here. Whether it makes 700, 800, $1 billion, whatever. But I'm going to put my hat on the ring now and say it will just hit around $1 billion or just under $1 billion. So this film is a success. It's a great movie. And of course, Warner Brothers don't want this to happen. They want to make as much money as possible. But this doesn't hurt the film's overall success and reputation. And it doesn't hurt the fact that it's going to get greenlit for a sequel. That, my friends, would definitely happen. I've gone on record on saying this before. I think Jared Leto's Joker is awesome. And the only reason people hated him is because it was a different version of the Joker and it wasn't Heath Ledger's, because it's about the Dark Knight all the time. And Heath Ledger and the Joker must be exactly like that. Listen, Jared Leto's Joker is pretty much adapted from the New 52. He's a kind of gangsterish kind of Joker, very, very different. So even though he laughs and he's off his head, he's more controlled than other iterations of live-action Joker we've seen before. But I still think it's a valid entry of the Joker character. Jared Leto on whether he'll play Joker again in future DC movies. As Jared Leto is getting ready to bring Morbius to life on the big screen, he talks about whether or not he'd ever return to the DCEU as Joker, by Andy, whose surname I can never pronounce, from Screen Rant. As Jared Leto is about to bring Morbius to life in cinema, the former Suicide Squad and Justice League actor talks about whether or not he'd ever play Joker again in the DCEU. After COVID-19 related delays, Leto is less than a month away from returning to the comic book genre in Morbius, the latest installment in Sony's Spider-Man universe. Similar to Venom, Morbius takes the iconic Spider-Man baddie into the anti-hero route as Marvel's famous living vampire makes his live-action debut. However, prior to his Marvel gig, Leto has already familiarized himself with the superhero genre through the DCEU. Many actors have brought the Joker to life in various live-action projects over the decades, with Leto being one of them. As Warner Bros. Was getting the DCEU up and running, the actor-musician landed the role of Batman's famous arch-nemesis in 2016's Suicide Squad, prior to all the BTS drama that happened before and after the release of 2017's Justice League. The studio had planned to have Leto's iteration star in his own Joker film and other DCEU projects. Instead, Joaquin Phoenix starred in a Joker origin story outside the DCEU, while Leto's incarnation was phased out. Think about this. He was in the Suicide Squad. We've not actually seen his true Suicide Squad performance. He was going to be in Gotham City Sirens and he was going to be in Harley and the Joker. These films by by David Ayer would have been amazing. And it's an absolute tragedy. I want to see him back, and I want to see those projects done with David Ayer. And I think David Ayer has still got ambitions, because basically that's why he was supporting James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Let's not be stupid here. While Leto may be busy with his new Marvel adventure as Morbius for the next few years, would he ever be willing to reprise his Joker in a future DC movie? In a new interview with Variety, Leto was asked directly if he's still interested in portraying the clown prince of crime. In response, Leto is leaving the door wide open for Warner Bros. To give him a call, stating that he would never want to turn down the opportunity to play a character that he gets attached to, including Joker. Never say never. For me, they're like living, breathing people. I know they're not, of course, but I get attached. It's a shame to never do it again, and let's hope he does it again, because he's brilliant. Even though Leto hasn't been back for any DCEU films, Zack Snyder's Justice League had Leto cameo as Joker in 2021. Despite the fact that Joker was never part of Snyder's original Justice League plans, the director ended up adding Leto prior to the cut dropping on HBO Max. Let me be clear about this. Leto's Joker was already part of the Snyderverse, because the first Suicide Squad is part of the Snyderverse. Not the cut version we saw, but David Ayer's original version. Thank you for that. Notifications, don't they get on your nerves? While his return was brief, it left many eager fans wanting to see Leto's character again, especially in a project with Ben Affleck's Batman. While Warner Bros. Has stated that there is no plan to continue the Snyderverse, it remains to be seen if that sticks following Warner Media's merger with Discovery, depending on what the new leadership wants. There may be interest on there, and that includes revisiting Leto's Joker. Suicide Squad and the Snyder Cut hinted about the extensive history between Batman and Joker, including the death of Robin. It's also worth remembering that, like Snyder's Justice League, there is an unreleased version of Ayer's Suicide Squad cut that includes more of Leto's villainous character. With both unseen content and potential ideas for various projects, there is definitely more that can be done with this version of Joker, as Leto is more than game to revisit his Joker in future DC films. The ball is in Warner Brothers' court. No, the ball is in Warner Brothers Discovery's court. Forget about Warner Brothers Pictures. Forget about them. They have no power. They can't even green light anything anymore. Do you know the only thing they've greenlit recently is James Gunn cameoing in the Harley Quinn animated series, the third series. Very exciting. I can't wait to see it. I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun. But that's what they're greenlighting. DCEU stuff isn't being greenlit, and it won't. I keep on telling you this until Warner Discovery comes into play. So they were asking the question, saying Warner Brothers have no plans for the Snyderverse to be restored. Warner Brothers Pictures don't have any power anymore. David Zaslav and Warner Brothers Discovery have. Big changes are coming, people. Whether it happens as soon as they walk through those doors or later on, it's going to happen. And you should be very prepared for that to happen. Are you a Dylan O'Brien fan and you want him to play, Nightwing? I was going to say Deathstroke, get my characters totally wrong. But I know there's a lot of people who want Dylan O'Brien to play Nightwing in the DCEU. You are going to be really disappointed now. And it's hard to believe. I know in the past, you fan casting people have been saying he's lying. His denials are lies. Well, this doesn't seem like a denial. This sounds like a blatant no. So Dylan O'Brien comments on the superhero movie future amid Nightwing rumours. Addressing the Nightwing rumours, Dylan O'Brien candidly explains why he's not all that interested in joining the cast of a superhero movie by Abdullah K. Gamadi of Screen Rant. Dylan O'Brien gives a candid answer about his superhero future amidst the constant Nightwing rumours, first rising to fame with the role of Styles Stilinski on MTV's Teen Wolf. And as the lead of the Maze Runner films, O'Brien has returned to the spotlight in a big way over the past 2 years. The actor has had leading roles in movies Love and Monsters and Flashback. He's portrayed himself on Curb Your Enthusiasm, and he starred in a short film for Taylor Swift. Well, someone's got to do it. But with the increased visibility, old rumours have resurfaced as well. O'Brien has long been a popular choice for fan castings in superhero movies. No potential character has proved quite as durable as DC's Nightwing, with fans arguing that O'Brien would be ideal to bring the comic book creation to life. Arguments in favour of the Teen Wolf alum cite his physical resemblance in addition to how his career trajectory mirrors Nightwing's arc. O'Brien has gone on record to make clear that there is no truth to the Nightwing speculation. In a wide-ranging interview with THR, the Hollywood Reporter, to promote his new movie, The Outfit, which debuts in theatres on March the 18th, O'Brien was asked if fans should expect to see him in a superhero film. Though he tries to strike a balanced tone, saying he's open to anything, it's fairly evident that the actor doesn't view joining the MCU or the DCEU as his top priority. He also expresses surprise that some fans won't believe his denials about Nightwing. O'Brien's full quote is included below. So let's have a look what he has to say here. Quite a lot. In the way that I want to approach my career, I just don't think it would benefit what I want to do. Nor do I think it's interesting to me. Why can't I be disinterested in those things? Laughs. It's just not what I'm into, and it's not what I'm interested in doing with my career and job. I'm also not close to anything. I would entertain everything, but also those things are a big life change as well. I don't think people think about that a lot. It's a really big commitment, so all that stuff goes into it. And you're right, it is the game now, and I can't believe how much I talk about it. Even when I answer honestly, everyone is like, wow, watching Dylan lie about this is hilarious. He's obviously Nightwing. And I'm just like, this is crazy, laughs. So I have literally heard nothing about it. It's not a real thing, laughs. It's just funny how it all happens. And yes, it seems to only happen with these superhero things. Well, what do you think about that? He had a lot to say, didn't he? Taking the wider view, it's not surprising that O'Brien's name would be frequently linked to a superhero character. He was one of the many names rumoured to have auditioned to be the MCU's Peter Parker before the part went to Tom Holland. But I thought he wasn't interested in superheroes. So was that rumour true or not? And although O'Brien has shown that he would be great for a young hero like Peter, he has more frequently spoken with ambivalence about the genre that has come to define Hollywood. He has also expressed deep reservations about fame, with his stock undoubtedly rising if he were to be Marvel or DC's next marquee star. O'Brien is contingent just the same to not shut the door completely for now. He's focused on a variety of different projects. That includes a social media satire, a political comedy, and a mystery produced by M. Night Shyamalan for a performer that has often spoken of a desire to diversify his filmography even during the first interviews. It looks like O'Brien is right on his preferred trajectory, at least for the moment. That doesn't include Nightwing or any other hero. You can take that as two ways of what he's just said, because he does laugh a couple of times. You could say he's lying, but he's lying really, really well. Or you could say, this guy's just not fucking interested. Let's stop talking about this now. Because it must be really, really frustrating, especially if it's somewhere you don't want to go. He really talks about superhero movies and superhero genre in live action in a derogatory manner, like he thinks it's beneath him. And normally you get that with people like Martin Scorsese, but to see Dylan saying that is very interesting to me. It's like he really wants people to stop talking about this. So he could be lying. It's not like people haven't lied before, so that's still a possibility. But let me tell you about fan casts. Very few fan casts ever happen. I know some have happened, but very few of them do happen. Because you, the fans, us the fans, see things in different ways than casting people do. This could be an absolute disaster. This could be the best casting ever. It might still happen. But he's blatantly saying no. He's saying this is not where he wants his career to go. Even though it could be a short possibility that he's lying, it does sound like superhero movies are not the way he wants his career to go. When you look at the list of projects he's planning on being on and being involved in right now. So I would say right here and now, and if I'm wrong, Dylan O'Brien won't be playing Nightwing in the DCEU anytime soon, or maybe ever. This has been the DCEU Daily Movies TV Man. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you never miss this beautiful perfection. And I'll see you in tonight's live video where we'll be talking about anything in the DCEU. We could be getting breaking news that we need to feast on. So I will look forward to seeing you on tonight's live show. Until we meet again, goodbye, au revoir. I'll be the same. See you again soon. But that didn't work, did it?